Welcome to the McAfee Taft webinar series. The topic for this webinar, Audits Everywhere, how to respond to Medicare audits and the 60-day repayment rule. For fiscal year 2019, the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Comprehensive Error Rate Testing Program, also known as CERT, estimated that nearly $29 billion in improper payments were made to Medicare providers and suppliers. To no one's surprise, the government wants that money back. And in an effort to do so, they employ an alphabet soup of Medicare investigatory methods, ADR, CERT, RAC, TPE, and UPIC, to name a few, to uncover overpayments due to improper coding and billing practices and suspected fraud. In this presentation, we look beyond industry lingo to assist Medicare providers in responding, appealing, and complying with Medicare audits and the 60-day repayment rule. Our presenters are McAfee Taft healthcare attorneys Patricia and Elizabeth Dalton, and special guest Renee Brown, a certified billing, coding, and auditing consultant.
Hello, everyone. Today's webinar is going to focus on the types of Medicare audits that we are seeing more and more that our clients receive. And we believe that although maybe the number of audits have not increased exponentially over the last couple years, we are seeing that the consequences of audits are more significant, especially with the rise in whistleblower lawsuits. Many times we see that there was a CMS or a RAC audit on one matter, and then a disgruntled employee, a physician, a contractor files a whistleblower lawsuit, which leads to greater penalties and consequences, which we'll talk about in today's webinar. So it's very important that everyone take these Medicare audits seriously, which Renee will go into detail on that. We will talk briefly about the types of Medicare audits, what steps you can take to prevent audits and potential repayments. Once you receive a request for an audit or medical records, how to react to limit your exposure, what an overpayment demand will look like, and when you have appeal rights and what the timing of those rights are. And then lastly, Elizabeth will talk about when you have an obligation to go further with respect to an audit and potential repayments under the 60-day repayment rule.
And one of the reasons we want to talk about this now is that we find it's really timely. We're seeing an uptick in audits, and especially as it's easier and easier for the government or potential whistleblowers to mine the data that's out there. We're seeing more audits and more whistleblower lawsuits brought on the basis of that.
Well, and it's not just Medicare. The insurance companies have learned to do data mining as well. And so it's really relevant for almost every contractor that you have signed the contracts with. They learn from what Medicare does, and then they start using the same process.